Trinity. In the upcoming weeks, we will take a moment to highlight and feature African Americans that have contributed to the betterment of our country. Some of these individuals, groups, or organizations you may be familiar with, but others you may not. It's important for us to share these stories so that our history is not forgotten. Now, we know this brief segment of Black history isn't long enough to capture the depths of who we are, just as Mr. Carter G. Woodson knew that 1 week wasn't long enough to celebrate Black lives. However, this is the time we will pause and reflect on the contributions made yesterday and their influences that shape us today. Now, what better way to kick off Black History Month than with the history and man that created Negro History Week? I'm talking about Mr. Carter Godwin Woodson. Mr. Woodson was born in 1875 in New Canton, Virginia. He was the fourth of 7 children, intelligent young man, so much so that he completed 4 years of high school in less than 2 years. Mr. Woodson went on to college in Kentucky and later got a job working for the U.S. government as the education superintendent in the Philippines. The one thing that Mr. Woodson is most famous for is his creation of Negro History Week. Now, here's how it happened. The celebration of Blacks began in Chicago during the summer of 1915. Carter G. Woodson and friends traveled from Washington, D.C. to participate in a national celebration of the 50th anniversary of emancipation sponsored by the state of Illinois. Thousands of African Americans traveled to see exhibits highlighting the progress their people had made since the destruction of slavery. Inspired by the 3-week celebration, Woodson decided to form an organization to promote the scientific study of Black life and history. Mr. Woodson and 3 others formed the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, known as the ASNLH. Woodson selected February to encompass the birthdays of 2 great Americans who played a prominent role in shaping Black history, namely Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, whose birthdays are the 12th and 14th, respectively. Now, a graduate member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, he urged his fraternity brothers to take up the work. In 1924, they responded with the creation of Negro History and Literature Week, which they renamed Negro Achievement Week. Woodson believed that Black history was too important to America and the world to be crammed into a limited time frame. He spoke of a shift from Negro History Week to Negro History Year. Then in 1940s, efforts began slowly within the Black community to expand the study of Black history in the schools and Black history celebrations before the public. The 1960s had a dramatic effect on the study and celebration of Black history. Before the decade was over, Negro History Week would be well on its way to becoming Black History Month. In 1976, 50 years after the celebration, the association used its influence to institutionalize the shifts from a week to a month and from Negro history to Black history. If Mr. Woodson was with us today, he might tweet something like, "We should emphasize not Negro history, but the Negro in history." Mr. Woodson passed away April 3rd, 1950. I am, you are, we are Black history.
Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God is gonna trouble the water.